friends, it's Gwen and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to review two books because they are a duology, and that is First Touch and Last Kiss by Laurelin Paige. This is the first book that I read by her. This is the follow-up book, and these are kind of new adult, romance, erotic, dark stories, so I want to talk to you about them. I read this one last month, and then I read that one in like 2 days. I was buddy reading it with Let's Talk Books, well, Nicole from Let's Talk Books. I saw her review or her mention this in like her wrap up like a while ago, and I've had it on my wish list for a while. Danny from Danny Darling sent it to me for my birthday, and I was so happy. And then I read this and it ended on a cliffhanger, so I immediately purchased this and talked to Nicole about how much I liked this one, and she said, hey, let's buddy read this one. And I was like, yes, please. So we did it and I loved it, and let's discuss. I want to start off by saying that these books are definitely not for everyone. Not everybody's going to be able to pick these up and enjoy them. I don't think they're really appropriate for all ages or anything like that, but I would say like 18 and up it's good for. That's just my personal opinion. But let me tell you what these stories are about, and I'm not going to really go into like specific plot points, because if it does sound like something that you want to read, I don't want to spoil you or anything like that. But I just want to give like my overall thoughts, and it does bother me that these paperbacks are two different sizes, but what can you do? Basically, the story starts with Emily, and she's our main character, and she receives this voicemail from her like estranged best friend Amber, and in this voicemail she uses the safe word that they came up with, and Emily automatically goes into something's wrong with Amber, I must find her right away and make sure she's okay. So Emily hires a private investigator, and Emily and Joe, the private investigator, go on this hunt for Amber to make sure that everything is okay. So as Emily is tracking Amber, she runs across this billionaire, Reeve Salas, and she decides that in order to find out what he knows, maybe he had something to do with Amber's disappearance, because she can't find Amber anywhere, she sets out to seduce him. So that's kind of the basis of the story, is that her friend Amber is missing. She got this voicemail that said the safe word that indicated that she was in trouble. She goes looking for her. She can't find her. She ends up tracking Amber to Reeve, and then she starts investigating Reeve and kind of goes after him and says, I'm going to seduce him to find out as much as I can possibly find out about where Amber is, what happened to Amber, and so forth. For a while there, she's thinking that maybe Reeve himself has something to do with her disappearance. So that's the basis of the entire story. But as you're reading the story, you're left wondering why Amber was so important to Emily, and if they were so important to each other, why did their friendship fall apart? Like, why did they lose contact in the first place? Over the course of both novels, you get a better sense of how they became friends, what bonded them, what really made them inseparable, and it just kind of talked about everything that they went through, how they met, how Amber really took Emily under her wing and led her down this totally different life than she could have never probably even imagined for herself. And it also explains why Emily would risk everything to save Amber. The process of trying to find Amber and getting involved with Reeve, she ends up tangled up in this web of Reeve. And Reeve ends up being that person that gives Emily everything that she's ever wanted. He gives Emily exactly what she needs, and Emily spends a big portion of this story trying to separate Reeve and Amber. But at every turn, she's seeing that she really can't do that. So that makes it difficult, because she's having to decide between her friendship with Amber and this very close bond that you really don't understand. You do a little bit, but when you get into the second book, you obviously understand it more, and after finishing it, you kind of have the full picture. But you obviously know that they had a very tight bond. Otherwise, why would she be going through these links to find her? But then she's obviously developing feelings for Reeve. But in the back of her mind, she's wondering, did he have something to do with the disappearance of Amber? So she's having feelings for him, but she's worried about her friend, and she's having to choose friendship or like what she's always been looking for her whole life, and giving someone, like giving it to her fully, like what she's needed. She's finding out that she can't separate them. They're not two separate entities. They really are entwined. And the great thing about it is these books keep you guessing until the very last page. There were reveals and twists and turns that I never saw coming. My jaw was literally on the ground. It does have those erotic moments, but it also is just like you never know which way the story is going, and it's so suspenseful. I loved how slowly and mysteriously the character of Reeve was revealed. His character, his motives, about his family, about his past, about what he feels. Like he's always that person, he's not just going to come out and say it, and it just takes you a while to like say it already, you know, and like just learn more about him. I love how it took like a very long time to like find out his motives for things and why he did things, why he said things, and just everything like that. I loved that. I do want to touch on the dark parts of this story, just in case these are not for you, because I rated both of these 5 out of 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed them, but I do want to touch on those darker moments and explain them to you a little bit. This isn't the darkest story that I've ever read. I've definitely read darker stuff, but it does have those dark moments, and those come in the form of, number one, it comes into the sexual desires of Emily herself, what turns her on, and what works for her. Then there's the part two is what bonded Emily and Amber in the first place. Again, you see a little bit of it in the first book, but then you really understand it more in the second book. So there's something not normal, I would say, that kind of bonded them and made them, their bond, like made these two girls inseparable. And the third thing that I would say was really kind of dark was what led to the ultimate demise of their friendship, like in the first place. What happened to their friendship? It's something that happened to Emily that separated these girls, and it's horrific, and that it's pretty dark, but that's what separated them. But then after you see that, you like understand a little bit more, and then of course after you read both stories, you're like, got it, understand it. A little bit more about Emily. She fully submits to the men that she's been in relationships with, and she seemingly has no limits. Like there's no hard limits for her. She'll never say no. She'll never say stop. It's almost can, in the wrong hands, get abusive. She likes to be controlled, and she likes it rough, and Reeve frightens her in a way that she's never been frightened before, but that's also what turns her on about Reeve. So if you really can't stomach the dark parts of these novels, then I would stay away, but I thoroughly enjoyed them. I rated both of them 5 out of 5 stars, and if you do like new adult dark romance stories, I highly recommend this because it does have those dark moments, but it's also about the mystery and the element and the friendship and fighting for what you want and finding your own voice when you've been tied to someone for so long. So it has a lot of good messages and themes wrapped up into this type of story, because I know some of you guys are probably rolling your eyes so freaking hard right now, but I thoroughly enjoyed these. I will probably look for this author in the future. I know she has several other series out. She also has some standalones, so I'm definitely interested in trying some of her other stuff. But that's all for today's review of these two novels by Laurelin Paige. Let me know if you've read them. Let me know if you have any new adult dark romance stories that you can recommend down in the comment section down below, because that's how I have found other series to try from recommendations from you guys. I have a couple more on my wish list. I want to order those soon, so maybe I'll do that in the next couple of days. But that's all for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!